It is the sound of a bad day. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
cruising down the Garden State Parkway,
Mm.
or maybe you're just navigating the potholes on Bloomfield Avenue in Montclair, and then crack.
Ugh.
It's like a gunshot inside the cabin.
Visceral is the word for it. It immediately ruins the drive.
It ruins the drive, it ruins your mood, and honestly, the first thing that hits you isn't, is my car safe? It's, how much money did that rock just cost me?
Instantly.
Because, let's be real, driving in New Jersey is basically an extreme sport for your vehicle's exterior.
It is. Between the construction debris and the winter road salt, your windshield is constantly under siege. And you're right, the financial anxiety is immediate.
So that is what we're digging into today. We have pulled a stack of documents, pricing sheets, and technical breakdowns from Windshield Replacement LLC.
Okay.
They are a Newark-based outfit that does a ton of work, specifically in the Montclair area. And the goal here is to figure out if that crack in the glass is a $100 annoyance or a $1,000 disaster.
And looking at their data, the answer is often, it depends, but not for the reasons people usually think. It's not just about the size of the crack anymore. We're going to find out that the piece of glass in front of your face has quietly become one of the most sophisticated pieces of technology on the entire car.
Which sounds expensive.
It can be, but there is a logic to it.
Okay, let's start with the sticker shock then. I'm looking at the price breakdown from Windshield Replacement LLC. I'm driving in Montclair, I get hit by a rock. What is the damage to my wallet?
Well, there is a massive fork in the road right at the beginning, repair versus replacement.
Right.
If you are lucky, and we will define lucky in a minute, you're looking at a repair.
Yeah.
In the Montclair area, the data shows this typically runs between $150 and $250.
Pause right there. $250
Oh,
to fill a
wow.
tiny chip? That feels steep. I mean, it's a drop of glue and 10 minutes of work, isn't it? Why isn't that $50?
I get the skepticism, but it's a bit more than just glue. You're paying for a specialized resin injection process that has to restore the structural integrity of the glass.
Okay.
It's not just cosmetic. If they don't get the pressure right or if there's air in there, the crack spreads anyway. So $150 to $250 is the price of keeping the factory seal intact.
Okay, so that's the cheap option. What happens if I'm not lucky?
Then you are in replacement territory, and this is where the spread gets wild. For a standard vehicle, think a 10-year-old sedan, no bells and whistles, you're looking at maybe $250 to $500 for the new glass and installation.
That seems reasonable. That's about what I'd expect.
Sure, but if you were driving anything modern or anything classified as a luxury vehicle,
Which is a lot of Montclair.
a lot of Montclair, the source specifically flags makes like BMW, Mercedes, Audi, that price floor shoots up. You are starting at $500 and easily going over $800.
Wow. So we were talking about a potential $600 difference just based on the badge on the hood?
Well, it's really based on the tech in the glass. But before we get to the fancy stuff, we need to address how a driver even knows which camp they fall into.
Right. How do you know if you can get away with the $150 fix? Or if you have to shell out for the big one?
Okay, so you've probably heard this rule of thumb before.
I've always heard, if it's smaller than a dollar bill, you're good. Is that actually true, or is that just an urban legend?
It's actually a pretty solid metric. The industry calls it the 6-inch rule. Generally, if the damage is smaller than 6 inches, roughly, that dollar bill length technicians can save it.
So size is the only factor.
No, and this is where people get caught out. Location matters just as much.
How so?
You could have a tiny chip, smaller than a dime, but if it is directly in the driver's line of sight,
Yeah,
it's an automatic replacement.
really, for a dime-sized chip.
Think about it. The repair involves injecting resin. It cures clear, but it's not perfectly invisible. It leaves a tiny distortion. You cannot have a permanent smudge directly in front of your eyes where you're trying to focus on the road. It's a safety hazard.
Okay, that makes sense. I wouldn't want a permanent blurry spot.
The other deal breaker is the edge. If that crack touches the edge of the windshield, even just a little bit, it's over.
No way.
The structural integrity is compromised at the mounting point. You can't patch that.
So if I'm unlucky enough to catch a rock right at the edge of the glass, I'm buying a whole new windshield regardless of how small it is.
Unfortunately, yes.
All right, let's go back to that price gap. $500 to $800 or more for modern cars. You said it's not just the badge? I assume we're paying for the smart features.
We are. The windshield has evolved. I mean, it used to be just a wind blocker. Now it's a filter and a display screen and a sensor array.
I know about the rain sensors. I assume that adds a few bucks.
It does. The glass has to be manufactured with specific brackets or optical clarity zones for those sensors to work. But it goes so much deeper. Do you have a heads-up display?
The thing that projects the speed on the windshield.
Yeah, those are cool.
They are cool, but they require a special wedge-shaped membrane inside the glass layers.
A membrane? Yeah, if you use standard glass, you get a ghosting effect. You'll see double images of your speedometer.
So you can't just slap any piece of glass on there.
Absolutely not. Then add in heating elements for wipers or acoustic glass.
Acoustic glass, is that just marketing speak for thick glass?
No, it's a real thing. It's a multi-layer sandwich designed to block specific sound frequencies. Road noise, wind hiss.
Ah,
Here is a tip the source doesn't explicitly spell out, but is good to know. Go look at the bottom corner of your windshield where the little manufacturer stamps are. If you see a little icon of an ear or the word acoustic, you have the expensive glass.
I am 100% checking that in the parking lot later.
Yeah.
So this brings up the inevitable question. If I have a fancy car with all this stuff, can I just buy the cheap aftermarket version and save $300? Or do I have to buy the OEM stuff?
This is the eternal debate. OEM original equipment manufacturer is the glass made by the same people who supplied the factory. It's going to fit perfectly. Aftermarket can be good, but the quality control, it varies.
Varies is a word that makes me nervous when we're talking about my car.
It should. The source highlights that with things like rain sensors or lane cameras, even a millimeter of difference in the glass curvature or thickness can throw the entire system off.
Right.
It's like buying a tailored suit versus one off the rack. They both cover you, but one might feel a little tight in the shoulders. In a car, tight in the shoulders means your automatic wipers don't turn on when it starts to rain.
Or your heads-up display is blurry.
Exactly. So for basic cars, aftermarket is usually fine. For high-tech cars, going OEM is often the only way to guarantee everything still works.
But wait, we're talking about things working. You mentioned earlier that the price can go over $800. Glass, even fancy glass, is just materials. Where is the rest of that money going? Is it labor?
It is labor, but not the kind you're thinking of.
Okay.
It's not the guy wrestling the glass into place. It's the invisible labor required to make the car's brain accept the new eyes you just gave it. We have to talk about ADs.
ADS. I saw that acronym all over the Windshield Replacement LLC documents. Advanced Driver Assistance Systems.
Correct.
I admit, when I see a line item for calibration, my scam radar goes off. It sounds like undercoding or document fees. Is this actually real?
Oh, it is very real, and skipping it is dangerous.
How so?
Think about the safety features your car has. Lane keep assist, automatic emergency braking. How do you think the car sees the lane lines?
Cameras. I assume they were in the bumper.
Radar's in the bumper, but the cameras, they are almost always mounted inside the car, right behind the rearview mirror, looking through the windshield.
Ah, so the windshield is the lens.
It is the prescription lens for your car's eyes. If you replace the windshield, you have changed the refraction. Even if the new glass is perfect, the angle might be off by a fraction of a degree.
And I'm guessing a fraction of a degree matters when you're doing 65 on the parkway.
It matters huge. A 1-degree variance at the camera lens can translate to the car thinking an obstacle is 10 feet further away than it actually is.
Oh, wow.
Or thinking the lane center is 3 feet to the left.
So my car tries to correct my steering and pushes me into traffic.
That is the nightmare scenario. That is why you cannot skip calibration. The source notes that this adds anywhere from $200 to $400 to the bill.
So that's where the budget explodes.
It is. The technicians have to perform either a static calibration, setting up target boards in a shop with lasers, or a dynamic calibration, where they have to drive the car at specific speeds on marked roads to let the computer relearn the environment.
That's a lot of work.
It takes time, equipment, and training. It really feels like we aren't fixing cars anymore. We're doing IT support on wheels.
That is exactly what it is.
And frankly, if a shop tells you they can replace your windshield for cheap and they don't mention calibration, you should run, because they are handing you back a car with safety systems that might be blinded.
That is a terrifying thought. Okay, so we've established that it's expensive and complicated. I want to pivot to the actual fixing part. Let's say I'm in the lucky group, I have a chip, I'm in Montclair, I call these guys. What actually happens?
The repair process is pretty cool chemistry, actually. They drill into the chip just a tiny bit to open it up, vacuum out the air, that's key, and then they inject a UV curable resin.
Vacuuming the air out. Why?
If you leave air bubbles, the resin can't bond and the crack will still spread. That's actually why those DIY kits you see at the auto parts store usually fail.
I was going to ask about those. $15 repair kit versus $150 professional repair. I've been tempted.
We all have, but those kits operate on atmospheric pressure. They can't pull a vacuum. So you squeeze the goop in. It looks okay for a week, but you've trapped a tiny air bubble at the tip of the crack. The
Ah.
first time the temperature changes, boom, the crack takes off.
And once you've squirted the cheap goop in, can the pro fix it later?
No, you've contaminated the site. Once that DIY resin cures, you can't get it out. You just turn a repairable chip into a full replacement.
Okay, so DIY is a false economy. Note taken. Now,
Okay.
what about the full replacement? If I need new glass, is it a drop-off and wait all day situation?
It takes about 60 to 90 minutes for the actual work. They cut the old urethane seal, which is incredibly tough stuff, clean the frame, prime it, and glue the new one in. But there is a hidden time cost, the source emphasizes. Safe drive-away time.
Safe drive-away time. That sounds like something lawyers invented.
It's physics. That urethane adhesive needs time to cure. If you drive too soon, the vibrations can break the seal. But more importantly, and this is the part that keeps me up at night, the windshield is a structural part of the car's safety system.
How so? It's just glass.
It supports the roof. In a rollover, the windshield provides up to 60% of the cabin's crush resistance.
Wait, 60%.
Yes, 60. And your passenger airbag. When it deploys, it fires upward and bounces off the windshield to hit the passenger. It uses the glass as a backstop.
So if the glue isn't dry.
The airbag blows the windshield right out of the frame, and the passenger gets zero protection.
Wow. Okay, that is not a detail you want to gloss over. So when the technician says wait an hour, you wait an hour.
You sit in the waiting room, you grab a coffee on Church Street, you read a book. You do not drive that car until the urethane is set.
This brings me to the specific challenges of where we live. New Jersey weather, humid summers, freezing winters. How does that play into this?
It's the enemy of damaged glass. The source mentions this specifically for the Montclair area. Think about a February morning. Your windshield is 20 degrees. You start the car and blast the defroster.
Which blows 80-degree air right onto the glass. Thermal shock.
Massive thermal shock. Glass expands and contracts. If you have a solid sheet, it handles it. If you have a chip, that's a weak point. The stress concentrates right there and snap. That little chip runs across the whole glass instantly.
And the same thing happens in summer with the AC.
Exactly. Or even just road vibrations. We joked about potholes earlier, but hitting a crater on an NJ road sends a shock wave through the car chassis. If the glass is compromised, that's often the final straw.
So the takeaway is, procrastination is expensive.
In New Jersey, procrastination is practically a guarantee that you'll be buying a new windshield.
Let's talk about paying for this. Because frankly, hearing $800 plus calibration makes me want to just leave the crack there. Does insurance actually help? Or is that a myth?
This is the surprising good news. Most comprehensive policies cover repairs. The simple chip fills with zero deductible.
So it's free.
For you, at the point of service, usually yes. The insurance companies have done the math. They know a $150 repair is way cheaper for them than an $800 replacement claim next week. They want you to fix it.
But does my premium go up? That's the fear. I claimed a $150 chip, now my rate is up $50 a month.
Generally, no. Comprehensive claims, things that happen to the car like a rock or a falling branch, are treated differently than collision claims where you hit someone.
Right.
A windshield repair claim rarely impacts your premiums.
That is reassuring. So there is literally no financial reason to wait.
No.
And what about the hassle? I hate dealing with car shops.
Well, Windshield Replacement LLC, the source we're looking at, pushes their mobile service heavily. They come to your house or your office in Montclair.
Usually when I hear mobile service, I hear convenience fee. Do they charge extra for coming to my driveway?
It doesn't appear so. Most glass companies absorb that cost because it saves them from having to maintain a massive waiting room facility. They can just run vans so you get the repair done while you're on a Zoom call.
Okay, that eliminates the last excuse.
It really does.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've gone from it's just a rock to my car is a computer and the roof might collapse.
Yeah.
Let's try to boil this down for the listener who is staring at a chip right now.
Okay.
What are the big things they need to remember?
Number one, the 6-inch rule. If it's smaller than a dollar bill, get it fixed today. It's likely free with insurance, and it stops the damage in its tracks.
Right. And number two.
Number two, if you need a replacement, be ready for the tech tax. If you have sensors, cameras, heads-up displays, you are paying for OEM quality, and you are paying for calibration. Do not cheap out on this.
Oh, your safety systems won't work.
They just won't work. And number three, respect the cure time. Whether it's 30 minutes or 2 hours, do not drive that car until the technician says the adhesive is set. Your airbag depends on it.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is just how much the car has changed.
It really has. We used to think of maintenance as grease and oil, mechanical stuff. But now, fixing a windshield is closer to fixing a smartphone screen. It involves software, calibrations, sensors.
Yeah.
It raises a really interesting question for the future. As cars get more integrated, are we going to see the end of the local mechanic? Are we moving toward a world where only specialized IT technicians can even touch our cars?
That is a fascinating and slightly depressing thought. We aren't driving machines anymore, we're driving mobile operating systems. And sometimes the operating system gets a crack in the screen.
Exactly.
Well, if you were in Montclair and you've got a crack, don't wait for the next freeze-thaw cycle to ruin your week. Check the glass, check your insurance, and get it sorted. Thanks for diving in with us.
Drive safe.